Well, good morning, Borada. How are you this morning? Where to start? I think I'll just jump straight in, shall I? So last week, I felt like God was hitting me over the head with a metaphorical hammer. Really, there were just too many things. So I had some conversations with a couple of people about how much was going on in their lives, really, and how wearing that is and how exhausting it is. And then I led the healing service in Usk, so Thursdays at 11. And the reading for that day, I usually try to do whatever the Thursday reading is and then make it fit. Anyway, the reading for that day was just two verses out of Matthew chapter 11, where Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Writing my sermon all week, well, that was a whole nother thing, because I was really angry with the readings at the beginning of the week, and then I've kind of worked it all out. And it was basically all about Jesus inviting people to rest, and about compassion and being kind to yourself, and how Jesus is kind to us, Christ is kind to us when we can't be kind to ourselves. And it just kept on unraveling as the week went on, about slowing down, about listening to God, and about resting. Well, okay, I've heard. I had a wonderful Friday. I sat and did almost nothing. I watched lots of telly, and I crocheted. And this week that's coming through now, because it's the first week without the school around, there's just a little bit more space for me to catch up on that absolute mountain of emails and the phone calls and all those things that I need to do to care for you all properly. But it'll be gentler and not so fraught or frenetic. And I just thought, sometimes you have to hear the drip, drip, drip of a message that is being given, whether you want to hear it or not. And I wondered how easy you find it to listen, to hear, to act upon those moments where you just know that you're being told stuff and you've got to take it on board. It's really hard to rest, isn't it? There's always something to do. I almost find it easier to rest when I go out for the day, because I can't see the jobs that need doing. But I also find it quite hard to rest in a house that's messy, and any of you who've been here will know that we're not the tidiest of people. How do you rest? What do you do? Do you have a favourite piece of scripture that you go to, or are there songs or activities? How do you rest? And resting for me isn't up the allotment, digging. I can see that that's a good de-stressor, but it's not quite rest, is it? Rest is about actually slowing right down and doing less. It's quite a challenge in this busy world, but I commend it to you, and I'm trying really hard to rest properly when I should, and well, it's the work hard, play hard thing, isn't it? I thought I'd end today by reading you a different version of that Matthew passage, because sometimes when we hear things afresh, they speak to us differently or better, or you just can't tell, can you? But hearing it in a different way often makes us sit up a little bit. So I want to read the two verses from Matthew that I mentioned at the beginning. I'm going to read them from the Message, which is a paraphrase rather than a proper translation, but it sometimes uses language that just is made to make us pay attention. So the little passage is Matthew 11, and it's verses 28 to 30. Listen to this. Are you tired, worn out, burned out on religion? Come to me. Get away with me and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me and you'll learn to live freely and lightly. It's really beautiful, actually, isn't it? I'm quite familiar with this version of it, but every time I come back to it, it catches me out. And today I'm caught out about Jesus inviting me to learn the unforced rhythms of grace. We all live in grace, and he loves us through grace, not through works and deeds. And it's worth us remembering that sometimes. So how are you going to take a rest this week? How are you going to lean in and understand those unforced rhythms of grace? It's quite a challenge, but I look forward to hearing about it. Hey, have a good week, and you know where I am. Lots of love and God bless. Bye-bye.